How you going, YouTubers, and welcome to the channel. So in this one I'm going to be doing a little bit of block sanding with these big kid blocks and also the Dura blocks. And I'm going to do them over the top of the roof panel on this HQ sedan that I'm doing. And basically after I've done all of that, I'm going to then go over it with the linear block and see what those other blocks missed in the filler work. So what you're seeing here is the roof that I've done no filler work on at all. I've just blocked over it lightly just to pick up on any little dents, just so I can familiarise myself with the damage that is on the roof. And then what I've done after that is I've skimmed over the whole roof with filler, and now I'm starting to block one side with the Dura block. Now I've been using the linear blocks for a little while now, and usually I would start with 80 grit on the linear block because I find it does cut pretty flat even with an 80 grit sandpaper on it. But I found it really wasn't cutting it all that well with the Dura block, so I thought for this one I'll do 40 grit on the Dura block and 40 grit on the big kid block on the other side of the roof. So I did end up using 40 grit on both the Dura block and the big kid block, and I did that basically so it's a fair comparison, whereas normally I would have just used 80 grit on the big kid block and 40 grit on the Dura block. And as you can see, that 40 grit chops down that 3M Platinum Plus filler pretty quickly. Now I did try to do my best to sort of halve the sides of the roofs, so one side being the big kid block side of the roof and the other side being the Dura block side of the roof. But I couldn't exactly put a tape line down the middle because that would sort of hinder my work that I'm doing. And you know, I kind of really only wanted to do this once. It was basically just to show that I could block both of these sides of the roof down and then go over it with the linear block to show any imperfections. All right, so this is where we're at. So this has just been chopped back down with some 40 grit. This side being the big kid block, the other side being the Dura block. Now, I know I've got a bit of a low spot through here. This is either side of that roof brace, so pretty common for them to be low through there. A few little dents here and there that those blocks have picked up. Just something I would mention, and I'll run over to the other side to show you in greater detail, but see how these spots here, they're really showing the impressions of the dent. Not so much here, that's probably a low spot in the filler as I was applying it. These ones are obviously going to be a little bit larger because they are a low in the panel, not a dent to say. Like it's not like someone's hit it with a hammer. It's just a low spot in the sheet metal. But I'll run you around and see how these ones are a little bit more washed out. Like they're not as defined. So as you can see with this one, and I can feel that there's a low spot there. But as you can see, it's really picked it up. These ones are sort of, you can sort of see where it's run over it because the block has got a bit of cushion to it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to scuff up all these low spots. And I'm going to basically wipe the panel with some 3M Platinum glaze. And I'm going to pick up all these little low spots, hopefully. And same thing again, Dura block on this side, big kid block on that side. So I'll put a little bit more filler down just over those low spots after giving them a bit of a scuff. 80 grit on the Dura block on the passenger side for this one. Same as last time. Obviously put a bit more guide coat over that filler as well. See if I can pick up any other imperfections. Now for the driver's side, same thing. Big kid block, guide coat, 80 grit, blocking over the whole roof, trying to do sort of as I would if I was just using these blocks on their own, without the mindset that I am going to be using another type of sanding block to go over this filler work at the end of it all. So you may notice I am getting into the nitty gritty of it now, just picking up the last few little low spots here and there over the panel. This is really the hard part of doing any sort of large area like this, especially with a rigid block or something that can take filler out of another area that you don't want to take filler out of. So just trying to focus just on those smaller areas where it might just need a little bit more work, and then sort of blending that into the surrounding filler work as well. And this is really dusty work doing this. So thankfully I had someone from Moldex send me out some dust masks, which I'm really appreciative of. So this is where we're at. This is finished off in 80 grit, this side being the big kid block side, passenger side being the Dura block side. So I'm pretty happy with it so far. Nothing's really jumping out at me. I know you might see there is a few dark spots, but as you can see, there is filler in that bit. And that doesn't really worry me so much because I know by the time I 120 this, that'll come down again. So it'll all sort of blend in. Another thing that I'm not worrying about is these back corners through here. I know I have got a little bit of a low spot right here, but I'm not going to worry about that because chances are when I start or when I finish off blocking through here, especially around this radius right here, I'll end up refilling that and I'll end up blending all of that in. But yeah, this is where it's at. So from now, I'm going to put some guide coat on this, some 120 grit on the linear block, and I'll be giving this a rub. All right, so this will be the linear block that I use the 120 grit over the whole roof on. See if I can find any imperfections. Now this one's got a bit of flex to it, but the good thing about this one is because it does have that nice hard base and it flex, it's going to contour to the panel. So even like this one, even though it can do this, as soon as I put a light amount of pressure on it, it's having 100% contact. Whereas this one, and I'll try not to scratch the bonnet too much because that's been finished. See how this one's got a little bit of rocking to it? And this one has very little flex to it, if any. This one flexes quite a bit, but it is a very soft block, especially around these edges. And like I was talking about before, you do get hot points where you're holding onto it. Whereas this one's going to distribute even pressure over the whole block. So as soon as you put a little bit of pressure on these outer ends, all of this is now touching. So there's no air pocket going through here because it has got that nice strong backbone. So this linear block here is actually the flex block. I think it's about 32 inches long. And Linear Blocking Tools Australia actually sent me out these blocks for a bit of a review, which I haven't gotten around to yet just because I've been so busy doing the filler work on this HQ sedan. So eventually I will do a full fleshed out review on these sanding blocks, but at the moment I'm just trying to get the bodywork done in this HQ sedan, as well as get a few other videos done for the channel, which I hope you've all subscribed to by now. Obviously I have to keep on blocking this because there is lots of imperfections still left over. So as you can see, we've got guide coat here, 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 big bit in the center, another quite large area, another one here, another one here, and another one here, and another one back here. 3 here is not so bad. As you can see, there's a little bit more through here. Now this is on the rigid big kid block side. So I actually kind of thought this side wouldn't be too bad, but it just goes to show how much lying that sand block actually does. Now obviously I still need to keep on rubbing this, and I will end up rubbing those imperfections out with the linear block. But I kind of just needed to catch it now where you can actually see those spots still left over. I'll go around the other side. And this was the DuraBlock side. So as you can see, might be a little bit low here, or this might be a little bit high, either. What I'm thinking that might be is the DuraBlock getting to this lump right here of filler and actually riding over it. We're just starting to break through to steel just there. But as you can see, like, there's still a filler edge there, like, and I didn't even feel that when it was in 80 grit. So to find that now is pretty scary. Quite a large low spot through here. I do apologise, the lighting's good in here, but it's not really that good when the car's up on stands. Another large low spot through here. Now it might not be much, like it'd be very little, but the importance of getting your filler work right is if you primed over that, went, okay, that's done, and then you blocked your primer with the same block, well, the same thing is going to be left because your block's just going to follow that shape. So you really need to get your filler work right. Otherwise, you're going to be priming over this stuff, and when you get your primer on it and then you block it, you end up with a bit of a wave. So to get a really true flat finish, you need to get your filler work done right. You need everything to be nice and flat as possible before your primers go on. So unfortunately I can't show you the finished article on this one because it is still in the pre-primer stages. I've basically just been spot priming any areas that might have a cut through back down to bare steel, or a few areas that I might need to rework later on. I'm pretty confident with this roof that I should just be able to give it a bit of a scuff back and go straight on with the Resto finished poly primer, but there is still a few areas on the body that I am working. Anyway, I just thought I'd give you guys a little bit of an update on it. I'm really happy with how everything's coming together on this car. I will be having a full video of all the filler work that's been carried out on this one, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and check that one out when it's posted anyway. But alas, that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys got something out of this, something that can actually show you that your sanding box may not be truthfully blocking a panel down straight. Anyway, until next time, guys, take it easy and have a good one.